You're listening to Messages from Mula, a space where we get to the roots and expose what's hidden in the unconscious. So today's reading is for people who are in situation where they have to navigate extreme fear, extreme crippling fear which is making them unable to function, and also there's a sense of anxiety around what currently is favorable for you or what you should avoid. And given your past experiences, you are someone who has lost this agency over this clarity as to what situations work for you in your best interest. If you're someone who is unable to differentiate between fear and intuition, then this reading is for you. So, when I look at your message, what I'm getting is that currently you are navigating rough waters and you haven't fully made the transition where you are able to complete the transition and be on the part where the waters are calmer. So, since your transition is not complete, you're still carrying a lot of dead weight from the past. And while I'm not saying that your intuition is completely off, but what I am suggesting is, or what cards are suggesting is that your frequency is being heavily influenced by the dead weight of the past, by what feels like the trauma and what feels like the things still weighing heavily on your energetic field. Still, things you still have not let go of and completely cleared, and you still do not want to complete the transition perfectly. And the transition I can see is related to your financial security, your financial growth basically. You have a desire to step into a timeline of abundance, financial abundance to be more precise. And but this dead weight from the past that you're still carrying is actually heavily influencing not just your relationships currently, but your ability to manifest financial abundance as well. You can say that this fear is projecting itself onto your day to day one on one relationships. And since your abundance comes through these people, this is how, your dead weight from the past is what is making it all hijacked. Instead of trying to just discard your fears or just thinking that, okay, I have to get rid of them, or doing some rituals or practices, for example, things like cord cutting. What I'm picking up on is that stuff like cord cutting or any other similar rituals or practices may not work out for you as well as you picking up on that fear one by one and going into the root cause of it. What cards are suggesting to me is that you pick one fear, that you pick up every fear one by one by hand and look at them objectively. Look at them in a way that would help you trace back to its root. So, what you can do to work this out is that you can simply note down all your fears one by one. And maybe you can even use ChatGPT so that it can help you look at it objectively, process them objectively. So what you are being suggested is that you process them one by one instead of trying to just shake off your feeling around those fears as, oh, it's just fear, I shouldn't think about that much. No, because that's not how it's going to work. You have to work it out, or you can say it's the shadow work that you are being forced to look at those parts of yourself that you never really paid attention to, those dark aspects where light was never shined. So yeah, you can start with simply writing them down in your notebook, and if you can do it by yourself as to retracing the story around every fear, then this is going to, what I'm being recommended is that for every fear that you work with, you will be rewarded. That every fear you work with and every story around that fear, when you work with that story, you will be rewarded with something that's going to come off as a proof that yes, you worked it out. because there will be a substantial proof in the universe that okay, this came as a result when you specifically worked out fear A, or this particular reward came as a result when you worked around your fear number B, something like that, right? So, yeah, as you keep doing that, your dead weight, it will keep dissolving on its own. But for that to happen, you have to put extra and very detailed effort around those fears. Doing all of this, accomplishing all this, is what takes you a step closer to the other side of those testing waters that I was mentioning earlier, those calmer waters. So every time you do this, you are brought closer to your desired timeline, which not only involves financial abundance but a beautiful gift through relationships as well. So your desired timeline is having pleasure and beauty and relationships. Basically, it all ties into Venusian themes and love, prosperity, and wealth and luxury, basically. Or you can say just being able to thrive in Venusian themes. But for that to happen, you are being asked to cross over the bridge, complete the transition, because currently it's quite heavy for you in the sense that you keep going back to whatever happened in the past, whatever dead weight you are still carrying, you keep being drawn to it. That no, you still have that pull on you from the past situation, whether it was related to your failed relationship or maybe any other betrayals in friendships or any other relationships, right? I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, but yeah, the journey has to be continued. You are being asked that if you get tired, take rest. You can take rest in the middle as well, but you're not supposed to go back. Going back is not an option here for you. The spirit is telling me that, let's just say, when you began this life or when you began this mission of, let's just say, discovering yourself, you were, let's just say, given 5 pieces that worked for you in your life. Those pieces can be anything. Maybe that can be something, that are your talents. Maybe those can be your skills, or maybe that can be even money for that matter. So let's just say you were given those 5 pieces that were very, very valuable to you, that would have helped you to navigate life. But when life happened, 3 of those pieces were knocked down. So I am bringing up this example because 5 of cups is there. So let's just say when that those out of those 5 cups, 3 were knocked down. Okay, so you are not in a similar place or similar capacity that you used to be for you to be able to navigate life. The spirit is suggesting that you take those 2 pieces and move with them, even if it means you move broken, even if it means you move tired, even if it means you move disappointed and heartbroken. Okay, because for you, the gift is on the other side of the bridge when you cross those testing waters, right? So even if it's not the best currently with what you have something, you still have those 2 pieces, is what I'm being suggested. Okay, and when you make that transition, when you reach that other side of the bridge, okay, and how do you reach is you revisit every story around that fear, around those fears. You work them out one by one. Okay, even if the process is slow, it doesn't matter, because along the way, is what I'm hearing, is that you will be rewarded walking along that bridge. Even if you have 2 pieces, as you keep walking, you will be rewarded. You will be kept on being rewarded with more pieces. So let's just say you were left with now 2 pieces, and then you kept on walking with those 2 pieces. But along the journey, you also kept on walking around those stories of fears. Then you would be keep on being rewarded with more cups as you go on the journey. And by the time you finish up, the story will be something else. By the time you will finish up, what I am hearing is like a Fibonacci sequence. Like, this is the card Ace of Swords is the card, but the imagery that is being shown is Fibonacci sequence. So this can only happen that when you keep going on the path. Now, going on the path does not mean that you do not take breaks or you do not rest. Resting is just as important because you are bound to get tired on this path. Okay. But when you get tired, you would obviously be tempted to go back where you came from. But I am being strongly recommended and suggested that this is not the path for you. Going back is just not an option. Okay. So you have to understand your story like this, that everything that happened to you up till now is what brought you to this place, and everything that will happen from now on, for that to happen, it is going to be beautiful. For that to happen, this crossing across the bridge is very important. So this whole journey is being represented through Fibonacci sequence. Okay, that I don't know what is the scientific explanation around Fibonacci sequence, but from what I understand is that it is a build up of, you know, the previous numbers. Okay, and you can Google it. Okay, you can Google it, or maybe you can also listen to Fibonacci frequencies. Those will help you too, helping you process those fears and helping you take on that frequency where you can actually work these fears out. So yes, but the way I see it is that interconnectedness of all these incidents that happened, that are leading you up till this point, which is very much important for you to go where you are going. Okay, so the message started as something as, you know, a confusion that you are fighting as to whether or not you should see something as intuition, a warning, or something as fear. But what I'm getting is that what you're carrying is a certain set of stories which are weighing you down, which are trying to pull on you and trying to stop you from crossing that bridge. But you are on a bridge right now. You are not on either sides of the bridge. You are in the middle of the bridge. Okay. So for you to be able to cross that bridge, you have to work around those past stories. Yeah. And yes, when you stop by and rest and surrender, this is another message that I'm getting, that when you rest and stop by and surrender to a force, simply closing your eyes, okay, letting whatever you're feeling just pass, not acting upon it. This is going to open up new possibilities for you. You do not hold on to those feelings, you do not hold on to those sensations, you do not hold on to those stories, you do not hold on to those fears, but you just sit, you close your eyes, and when you do this process of letting all of it pass, I can see you receiving a transmission, divine transmission, okay? And when you receive that transmission, you are automatically projected into a new timeline and you are automatically projected into new possibilities, right? So you begin anew. So you have this wonderful ability to begin anew every time something knocks you over. This is what I'm getting, okay? But the fact that this Fibonacci sequence message appeared, it only means that you are being led to something, and everything is just a step in that. Everything is just a step in that. And I guess this is where I can wrap up your message, even though I want to go deeper, but I still feel like the simpler I keep this message, the better it will sit with you. Right? So if you made it till the end, share what part met you the most. It helps me tune in a little deeper to your energy. I'll meet you again when the roots whisper a new truth.